Young Drunk!
Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission. 2 men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble. And as always, I'm joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
We're back.
We are.
And just for you, we are here to review a film that the entire world has been waiting on pins and needles to hear exactly what the men of Micheaux think of the biggest film of 2025.
It's true, the entire world.
The entire world. We've just got a communique right before the show went up. This is why we're going up a little late. From our good friend Ryan. I'm not going to tell you his last name, but Ryan said, hey, guys, do a great show.
Sure.
And I'll be listening to exactly what you've been. This is the review I've been waiting for.
Sure. Has the Kremlin chimed in yet? Have we heard from the Kremlin?
Well, I think there's the time delay.
It's the time delay.
That might be the
Good
issue.
point. I'm glad you pointed that out.
But you're here right on time.
Exactly.
For our review, Vincent's selection.
Yes, absolutely.
In June for Black Music Month.
Black Music Month.
We are going to be reviewing Sinners.
We're going to sing the blues. We're going to talk about the blues.
From writer-director Ryan Coogler and starring Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan in a film that brings together blues, horror, romance, gore, suspense, everything.
You know, as good as he is in this film, I actually think he's better in the other role. Like, he's good in the one, but then he's even better in the other role. And you can see how they push each other.
That's what's coming up tonight on the Micheaux Mission, as we are streaming live to YouTube from Young Chunk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. To each and every one of you out there in the chat, hello, missionaries.
Good evening, one and all.
We were not here last week. We had a very special presentation as we did our review of Respect and Aretha.
Yes.
It was a great time, but we're back live. And Vincent, you weren't here because you were away, my friend.
I was. Went to New Orleans for a while.
How was that?
It's fantastic. I love New Orleans.
Yeah?
Like it really is one of my favorite places on earth. So
Nice.
you know, ate, walked around, look at architecture. Went to a wonderful museum.
Yeah, I was going to ask because this is not your first time visiting.
No,
New
oh
Orleans.
no, not at all.
So what
I've
is
been going
one
the whole
thing that you did in New Orleans this time that you didn't do before? And I guess that would be the museum you went to.
Right. The Backstreet Museum in Treme. Backstreet. You know what? Let me make sure I get the exact name right because you know we don't really do free advertising on this show. So if I'm talking about it, I really do like it a lot. Mm-hmm. And this is in museum. Anyone who watched the show Treme and is unfamiliar, they have a tradition in New Orleans, the Indians. Mm-hmm. And these are black men who dress up and these amazingly elaborate costumes.
Okay.
And they come out and parade on various holidays during the year. And then there's, of course, the huge tradition of parading and second lining in New Orleans. And this is a museum that is devoted to that culture.
Okay.
And it really is a remarkable place.
How far back does that culture go?
At least 100 years.
Okay.
At least. And then, you know, there are different organizations that, you know, like it was like the Baby Dolls were a group of women who dress up, and all of these groups, and there were costumes throughout the museum that you get to see.
Nice.
And it's a small Black-owned museum. They're actually in the midst of sort of fundraising right now, so they don't have a fundraising page or anything. But look them up if you're in New Orleans. I highly recommend the Backstreet Museum in New Orleans. It's a cultural museum. It is absolutely fantastic. And then, you know, New Orleans, we ate,
That's what you do.
That's what you do. But yeah, I love New Orleans. Love the architecture. Love the people. Love the whole thing. So yeah, good time.
Good time.
Good time.
Great. That's great. Mm-hmm. I was just sitting here burning up in Philadelphia.
Right. It's a little warm.
It's a
little
sticky
warm. It's a little warm
here, but we're glad to be back, and we're glad to be back here live for you, missionaries. And let's get to it. Let's hear from you, which means we're going to be reading your emails, or as we like to call them,
missives from the missionaries. So what else is going on, Len?
We have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries. Ooh. Missives from the missionaries.
Okay, we have a couple of weeks of emails, Vincent, so I'm going to just pull some select ones over the last couple of weeks.
Sure, because we got work to do.
So this is from Corey P.
Hey, what's up, Corey?
And the subject line is LenCon for the Summer of Comics. I think she sent this in around the time of our review of Dope.
Okay.
So hello, Len, Vincent, and missionaries. I first want to start off by saying rest in power to one of the most influential soul funk legends, Sly Stone, who passed at that time.
Yeah.
I still have to watch the documentary made by Questlove. I heard lots of great things about it. Let me dig into the crates and pull out my Sly and the Family Stone albums. He will be truly missed. Since it is the summer of comics, I want to petition Len.
Okay.
To have his own dream con called LenCon or TribbleCon.
Okay.
All
right.
Interesting. I feel like it would be so much fun. Black nerds and geeks reuniting, cosplaying, doing the electric slide. Len, along with Vincent, will make the event entertaining. Maybe Batman will come out and make an appearance. Oh, that's very nice. Actually, when we were doing Black Tribbles, we actually, in the last year, 2 years of the Black Tribbles, we were working on trying to do a convention.
Oh.
Because we wanted to do a convention. It was going to be called IndependentCon.
Okay.
And we wanted to come up with our own awards that we were going to award for like Black comic books and just Black geek culture.
Sure.
In general, but we weren't able to pull it off. But we did do the Women's Podcast Festival.
Yeah. But and I completely agree with Corey. Like I think the Tribbles should come back together like the Fat Boys. And maybe do
the Fat Boys didn't come back together.
They didn't come back together at all.
They never made it back together.
Okay, well maybe you can do something and say, take that, Fat Boys. We achieved something that y'all didn't do.
Has any rap group ever broken up and gotten back together and been successful?
How do we mark success?
Meaning that they didn't come back and just release an album. The album actually did something, and they continued on from there.
I don't know if I can answer that.
There hasn't been.
Kind of lightly.
I'm telling you, there has not been.
Right.
The only one I can think of immediately that broke up, that got back together, but they weren't successful afterwards, was EPMD.
Yeah. I mean, they're not the only group that made the Residuals Ran Out album. But like I said, I can't think of any that it's like, wow, I'm glad they, like I've mentioned this before, that I really like the album that LaBelle made like 5 or 6 years ago. Like I was genuinely shocked by how good that album was, considering that these three women hadn't really been together in like 30 years.
Yeah.
And they came together, and at the risk of incurring the wrath of the Philadelphia gods, I don't think Patti LaBelle has sounded as good as she did on that LaBelle album damn near since LaBelle broke up.
Oh, wow.
That's look, I said what I said.
You've said a lot.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm sure this will be on a YouTube
I was
short.
about to say, just actually don't put that on.
Well, now it's got to be.
I'm not trying to get no smoke from East Philadelphia people.
Now it has to be.
All right.
All right, we got a thank you, Corey P.
Yes.
Have an email from Michael Lockett.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
What's good, Len, Vincent? I hope the ease into summer is smooth.
I don't know if it's an ease.
I'm always happy to rewatch good movies, and Dope is one of them. Mm-hmm. And Stephen Harris was a great guest for this episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was. Stop. Go ahead.
He was all right. He's my dude. Dope really encapsulates a callback to a great time period, and unlike many films, allows black kids to just be kids. Mm-hmm. It always brings me back to me and my friends riding our bikes around, living our best lives. On the flip side, Mr. Peabody and Sherman led me again in the Wayback Machine to Norman, Is That You?
Norman, is that you?
There are not many stand-ups I like more than Red Fox. Also, there aren't many sitcoms I like more than Sanford and Son. That said, this film was a mess.
Yeah.
Maybe I am judging it too harsh from a 2025 lens, but damn, nothing really worked, and that hurts to say because, again, I'm a Red Fox fan. Mm-hmm. Vincent, thank you for giving us the backstory details on why this slop was slop.
It's the backstory is better than the movie.
And it often is.
Yeah, the backstory is better than the movie.
Fill people in real quick on the backstory of Norman, Is That You?
I mean, the short version is that Red Fox was dealing with a lot of Hollywood life at that moment. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of drug use.
Yes.
A lot of just not really that focused. And he and Della Reese, his co-star, had tension on that set, which, frankly, I feel like it's the type of tension that Red Fox had with a lot of his contemporaries, whereas, many people, including someone like Della Reese, had come to fame before Red Fox. Mm-hmm. And then when Red Fox becomes post Sanford and Son Red Fox, he really did move like he had an axe to grind.
Yeah.
Like I felt slighted by people, but now I'm a big man. And again, this is something, whether you're talking about Della Reese, whether you're talking about Pearl Bailey. I said Della Reese, but I think Pearl Bailey is in
Norman, Is That You?
In Norman, Is That You? But I know there was tension at one point with Della Reese. He had an infamous falling out with Lena Horne. When Lena Horne guest starred
on the show,
on that episode of Sanford and Son. So yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess, but that's why we watch all of them.
Michael Lockett continues, as I lamented Red Fox in this film, I sprinted down a Sanford and Son rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. While watching the Steinberg and Son episode where Fred and Lamont's lives are stolen for a TV show, I started thinking, are there any black sitcoms that actually top Sanford and Son?
Oh my goodness.
The stories, the one-liners, the supporting cast elevated the show almost with each episode. It's definitely in the top 5 in my opinion, but is it number 1? What say ye, my brothers? All the best, Michael Lockett. Is Sanford and Son the number 1 black sitcom?
It's mine. It's absolutely mine.
It's up there. It is up there. I don't want to say it's my number 1, but it actually may be. I have to there's two sitcoms I have to rewatch just to be fair. Mm-hmm. Okay. One is Rock.
Okay.
Just because I have fond memories of Rock.
Rock is good. Rock is good.
So I have to rewatch Rock, and I feel like I need to give the first couple of seasons at least of the Jeffersons a review. I don't see either of them matching Sanford and Son, but in my memory, I really did like Rock. And the Jeffersons, I think, was as much of a, or should be, as much of a touchstone for black characters on television as Sanford and Son, that I feel like I should give it a review just to be fair to it.
I love Rock. I think Rock sometimes would drift into so self-important
Yeah.
that it actually wasn't funny.
I think so, and I think that happened after it went live.
Like if we're saying sitcoms, it's got to be funny. And here's my second hot take of the evening. I don't think The Jeffersons was ever funny.
Well, I can't say. Okay, that's your case.
Like I think our girl. How'd I just forget Mother Jefferson's name?
Zara Cooley.
Zara Cooley. I think when she was on, you got a pop. Like those first couple of seasons that she was on, you got a pop.
Mm-hmm.
But when she wasn't on screen, I never found Isabel Sanford to be funny. I love Marla Gibbs. I've never really thought Marla Gibbs was that funny.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sherman
Hemsley. He always gets close to.
He graded on you.
He graded on me. He would grade on me very quickly. I thought he was best. Like again, when Mother Jefferson was on, I thought that chemistry worked really well.
Okay.
And Roxy Roker was drop dead gorgeous and a wonderful presence, but I never found her funny.
I mean, you could be right. Like I said, I want to.
Sure.
I think it lasted.
And I like the first, I like it just as a cultural artifact, and you watch it. But as far as funny, like I will, I'll like we were just talking the other day. Like you and I kind of differ a little bit. We got to stop because Sanford and Son's one of my triggers. Like you, like most people, frankly, don't really celebrate the Grady season of Sanford and Son, where Red Fox was gone.
Yeah, right.
And I think that season has a lot of gold. We were just talking in my house the other night about the Cousin Emma episode.
Well, the Cousin Emma episode.
But that's a Grady episode.
It's a great episode.
And it is laugh out loud funny.
It is.
And that is part of I will grant you, the weakest season.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll put Sanford and Son up against anything.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And like I said, it possibly is number one.
Right.
But as I'm thinking of it, I also want to be careful because then somebody will mention a sitcom and I'm like, oh yeah, but that sitcom was great too. You know what I mean?
I mean, if we can't think of it, like,
yeah, I know.
Like if somebody tells us the first season of That's My Mama was better, and I'll go, okay. Well, what was your favorite episode? Or like the Cosby Show knockoff, Charles and Company. I think Flip Wilson and Gladys Knight was better on Charles and Company. It's like, really? You gonna go with Charles and Company, huh?
Well, that's a good one. So, do you think not the average person, but the people in our demographic, 30 to 50s,
yes,
that have a true recollection of Sanford and Son,
yes,
but also have a recollection of the Cosby Show,
yeah.
Do you think that they will put Sanford and Son over the Cosby Show?
Yes. See, my stipulation is if you put all the episodes in a hat and you just randomly pull one, what are the odds that you're going to get something that is laugh out loud funny?
Okay, but
quite honestly, the only thing, and then we said black sitcom, so then I'm going with a black audience.
Okay.
In my mind, the only thing that really is a contender with Sanford and Son is something that, ironically, I'm not really a huge fan of, and that'd be Martin. Like, I really do think it's Martin and Sanford and Son if you're going to talk about the greatest black sitcom.
The greatest?
The greatest black sitcom, a sitcom about black people, as we'll talk about in an hour, for us, by us.
You think the race is between Martin and Sanford and Son?
I really do.
See, I now I 100%.
I think if you get a cross section of black people,
no, you're right. There are people they cake for Martin.
Yeah,
but I would tell them that they are wrong. Martin was good. Martin was a good series, but Martin has a good 2 seasons. That's it. So if you're by your test, putting all of the episodes,
right, and then you reach in the hat,
reaching the pulling one. I think when you're looking at shows like the Cosby Show and the Jeffersons, what runs against them is that they lasted longer than Sanford and Son. So there's more of a likelihood that you might pull something from their later seasons,
right,
which may not be as strong.
Right.
Martin, which probably ran about as long as Sanford and Son,
like 5 years.
But only truly, in my estimation, has 2 strong years.
See, I think your bias is coming out.
It's not a bias. No, it's not a bias. It's not a bias. It's because I watched Martin into its 3rd season, probably most of the 3rd season, and then kind of like, picked and choose after that. But in the 3rd season, I could see that show devolved into everyone standing around while Martin did the same shtick every single episode.
Well, yeah, I can't argue with that. And again, I think the strength of Sanford and Son
was everybody.
It's so funny. We were talking about we were talking about Norman Is That You, and we talked about that on the episode where it's called Sanford and Son, but really it is that cast.
It is it becomes
like that cast.
Remember, we were talking about how I had just recently started rewatching Sanford and Son and watching how much of the first episodes of it are, because they are remakes of the original British series.
Exactly.
It is more two-handers of Sanford and and Lamont, which are good, but you're kind of wanting to see everybody else start coming in.
Right. We got to talk about something.
All right.
We got to talk about something.
All right.
You keep it up, I'm going to start talking about Leroy and Skillet.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
go ahead.
Yes. All right.
All right.
You already name dropped Grady. All right. Okay. But thank you for your email.
Yes.
Another email. This is from Nicole Court.
Hey, Nicole.
Good afternoon, Len, Vincent, missionaries. I first want to extend my condolences to the late, beautiful Ananda Lewis.
Yeah.
The VJ from...
So young.
So young.
Oh, my goodness.
52 years young.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful spirit, in and out. One of my favorite women crushes. Very devastating.
Yeah.
I was always surprised. I was actually talking to someone, mentioning this to someone with her passing, that she didn't show up immediately after she, stops being on with BT. That she didn't move into even show up on one of the other cable services.
Sure.
Or hosting something else.
Sure.
Even on Bravo or Lifetime or something.
It does seem like she could have been a better fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, black woman didn't get where you and I think she should have gotten.
Tale is old as time.
News at 11.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Nicole continues. In honor of Black Music Month and Pride Month, I have a question that may ruffle some feathers.
Uh-oh.
We're all about ruffling feathers.
We are.
But it may spark an interesting conversation. I pose this question to the two of you. Which album that was received well at the time has now aged poorly or does not hold up? I've been hesitant to ask this question, but I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Excited that you both are reviewing the movie Respect as well as the series. Can't wait until we talk about Marlon Wayans' acting ability when in serious dramatic roles. I hope this email finds you well and have a great week. Nicole Court. Which album received well upon its release has now aged poorly? It does not hold up, Vincent.
I don't. I don't really know how to address that.
Because I know you've probably got one or two already in your.
No. I'm usually, I'm usually pretty consistent with my stuff.
That's right, because you buy only what I like.
Right, and also, quite honestly, something that was, it came out was just received well, and now it aged poorly. I probably hated it when it came out. I was ahead of the curve.
No, you're not snooty at all.
Oh my goodness, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Because I'm always a fan of the other way. Something that came out, and then as time goes on, people
you consider it
right
a classic or something like that. I can't think of anything either.
And we like to be positive.
Sure.
Yeah, but can you think of something?
I can't. Actually, I will tell you where my mind immediately went, though.
Okay.
My mind immediately went to the discography of Michael Jackson. But then as I was trying to pull from it, because there is certain, like, especially after he leaves Quincy and he starts working with like just, whoever the hot producer is, I'm thinking like, all right, how many of those albums really hold up? Like, what was History?
And how do you define hold up?
Like, do you still listen to them and they still have the same resonance?
Right, but as you said, you didn't listen to them when they came out.
Well, some of them. I mean, I listened to History. That's the one with Remember the Time. That's Remember the Time.
See, Remember the Time is not on History.
Oh, which one is that on?
I think that's on like Dangerous. It's either Dangerous or Bad because they
It's
are
not bad.
Then it's on Dangerous.
All right, well, it's Dangerous.
Right. See,
Whichever one it was.
Right. Exactly. Case in point. I'm listening. You weren't listening to History.
I thought. What's the hit from History? Which one? Like, Remember the Time is the one that also has keep them in the leave. What's not? Is it Leaving in the Closet? What's the one? What's the video he does with Naomi Campbell?
You having a stroke over there? What are you? Leave him in the closet.
The video he did with Naomi Campbell.
I don't know. Honestly,
the black and white video.
Yeah, I do, but I don't remember the
song. I thought it was leaving him in the. It's Leave Him in the Closet.
I'm pretty sure it's not called Leave Him in the Closet.
It's not Leave Him in the Closet.
Not Leave Him in the Closet. That was an unreleased track.
Open the door.
Open.
Missionaries. What is the name of the song?
We can't think of anything.
What is the name of the song? Michael Jackson does a video with Naomi Campbell.
28.
What? I need to know this now, and I could look it up. But the Missionaries are right there. They've been hollering at us all day.
You're going to look up Michael Jackson, Leave Him in the Closet, and Naomi Campbell. Your phone is going to alert the EMTs if you type that in.
I bet if I ask my phone, it would tell me in 2 seconds. Why didn't I think to ask my phone? In the Closet. I told you it was called In the Closet.
Is it In the Closet?
I told you. It's in the closet. I know they were in a closet. I mean, they're not in a closet. They're like dancing around. It's a beautiful video.
All right. I'll take your word for it. I tapped out. I'd honestly. I was like, Michael Jackson, do your thing, man. Okay, well, there you go. In the Closet, apparently is the name of the song.
I told you.
I had no clue.
I can't remember what album it's on.
Well, I don't. I didn't even know the song.
I bet it's on Dangerous.
I can't. I mean, maybe.
Which maybe doesn't.
Like, I didn't listen to a lot of Dangerous.
We didn't listen.
Like I Remember the Time.
And that was it. What else?
I like Smooth Criminal.
Is that's not that album.
Look, I'm just telling you what, like, once you get past Thriller, I got maybe 3 Michael Jackson songs after Thriller.
I mean, no, you've got Bad is after Thriller. You didn't like?
I've never liked the song Bad.
Okay, but you didn't like the album?
No. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that was received well. Do you think that has aged badly? It's not looked at.
Well, see, that's why I wanted to know how are we going to define age badly. I think the sales have remained consistent.
Very
I think people who like it, and they still like it.
Thank you, Lisa Alexander. It was on Dangerous.
Okay. Like, I didn't say it wasn't because I don't know. Like, I don't know. I like Remember the Time. I like Smooth Criminal.
That's not on Dangerous.
Then he died.
Oh my God.
I like Butterflies.
That's not on either of them either.
I am telling you that when Thriller goes off, Thriller has now ended. I shook Michael Jackson's hand and said, "Thank you for your service, brother." And then he and I parted ways. And then people said, "Oh, is the Egyptians on the Remember the Time video?" And I liked it. And this is 100% true. My brother Damon said, "Yo, I think you should listen to Smooth Criminal, that Michael Jackson song." I said, "I'm not listening to no damn Michael Jackson song." That is a direct quote from me. Listen to no damn Michael Jackson song. He said, "Nah, that Smooth Criminal is all right." And then I listened to Smooth Criminal and I said, "Oh, I like this."
Okay. All right.
And then he died. And I like Butterflies. And then this is what I do remember about Butterflies. Like Quincy Jones was talking all crazy. He never wanted to release this. And the integrity of his art. And this, that, and the other. It's like, dog, he released Speed Demon.
Yeah. And did a video.
Right. Like, we're going to defend Speed Demon, but you don't want to talk about Butterflies?
Okay, here's the album. Here's the track listing.
We are still
from Dangerous
about this.
Well, because I wanted to know what was the hits from Dangerous besides In the Closet and Remember the Time.
Yes.
The other hit from Dangerous was Jam.
I don't like Jam.
With Heavy D.
Jam. Here come the spam. It's Michael Jordan's in the video.
And Crisscross.
I forgot Crisscross was in the video. Why was Crisscross in the video?
Because they were hiding.
See,
Michael.
Michael
for the kids.
And this is exactly
Michael for the kids.
why I tapped out. I said, you know what? This is not for me.
Michael for the kid. I'm sorry, Emmanuel. I need Crisscross.
Oh, stop! Don't do that. Come on.
That's what happened.
Right.
Sorry. So you had Jam. Why You Want to Trip on Me?
Was that the one with Biggie? Like, I know at some point Biggie shows up. It's like, why is Biggie involved?
It doesn't say.
Okay.
In the Closet.
Yeah.
She Drives Me Wild.
Yeah.
Featuring Rex and Effect.
Because of course.
Well, because he's working with Teddy Riley.
Sure.
Remember the Time.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that. Remember the Time.
Yes, we know.
All right, I like that.
That's the one you remember.
That's one I like.
Can't Let Her Get Away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Heal the World. Black or White. Remember Black or White?
Yeah, I didn't like that song.
Me neither. Give In to Me, which features Slash.
Sure, of course, because you gotta get that crossover market. And it's nothing that the white kids love more than guitar. Quincy, we need some guitar.
I need some strings
for the crossover market. Go ahead. Meanwhile, all the kids over there listening to hip hop, but go ahead.
Will You Be There, featuring the Cleveland Orchestra.
We are still talking about this.
Keep the Faith, featuring Andre Crouch. Gone Too Soon, and then Dangerous.
Gone Too Soon isn't bad.
I don't remember Gone Too Soon.
Yeah, Gone Too Soon isn't bad. But yeah.
All right. There you go.
I don't think that's aged badly though. Like I don't think that fits the criteria. Like I think people who liked Dangerous like Dangerous. I think it's been pretty consistent.
There you go. All right. We have I believe we have one more email.
Sure.
Oh, no, we have two more.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
All right. Erica Washington.
Hey, what's up, Eric?
Erica, all the way in Las Vegas.
Hey.
How you doing? It's been a while since I've had the opportunity to catch up with you. Still listening, just overwhelmed with work and the state of the world. So
that's right.
To take my mind off the tomfoolery of real life, I engaged in some cinematic tomfoolery entitled The Help. I saw you all were reviewing it, and I had purposely never watched it, but had no desire to know how it really was outside of clips. But for y'all, and the sake of being in the conversation, I decided to watch.
How'd that work out for you?
Well, I see now why Viola Davis says she regrets making this film. Its success showed how certain demographics wax poetic about times when America was great.
Yeah.
I, too, love Allison Janney and Ceci Spacek and Andre Ellis and Viola Davis. How did they have such a great cast and give us this? I can't understand why Cecily Tyson would do that scene.
Yeah.
Her hand on the window like a slow child being hauled off to an orphanage, not feeling free and excited to leave with dignity with her, what looks like successful daughter. She'd rather be a maid to people who don't see her humanity. So many things to point out, but Vincent gave a great oratory on why this movie isn't just bad, but a part of the supremacy propaganda. This film should be found under the fantasy genre. Finally, my favorite ice cream would be mango sorbet.
Oh, not an ice cream person.
Favorite movie? His Girl Friday.
Okay, old school. It's a good one.
Favorite Prince album? A tie between Controversy and Piano and a Microphone.
Oh, that's interesting. And it's from two different eras.
Deep cut there.
Interesting. Okay.
Not sure what those things say about me, but I know they say I hated the help. Much love and blessings, and thank you both for giving many of us a small escape from the world around us. Erica.
Thank you, Erica.
Thank you, Erica. Appreciate that great deal. A great deal. We also heard from Jacob Bloomfield.
What's up, Jacob?
Who gave his favorite ice cream.
Okay.
Vanilla bean.
Oh, vanilla bean. Interesting.
His favorite movie, and this is one of my top 5 favorite movies, The Apartment.
Yeah, you a Billy Wilder dude.
I love that movie.
You a Billy Wilder dude.
I watch that movie probably 3 times a year.
Yeah,
That's how much I love that movie.
Yeah.
Favorite Prince album?
Okay.
Love Sexy.
Interesting. I feel like you don't hear Love Sexy a lot as a favorite Prince album.
We don't. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Thank you, Dr. Jacob Bloomfield.
Thank you, Dr. Bloomfield. Interesting.
Appreciate you. All right.
Your honor, I'm going to go listen to Love Sexy this week.
Our final email is from Michael Sykes.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Hello, Len, Vincent, missionaries. This weekend I watched Across 110th Street, Lady Sings the Blues, and Soul Train episode 45 with Curtis Mayfield, the main ingredient, and Hank Ballard.
Oh, all
I was
right.
blown away by the energy, the dancing during the Scrabble board, the Soul Train line, and the music between performances. After seeing Curtis Mayfield perform songs from Superfly, I had to rewatch the film. It reminded me how special 1972 was for black film. Lady Sings the Blues and Sounder made history with Diana Ross and Cecily Tyson, both earning Oscar nominations, the first time 2 black women were nominated in the same year. You also had Buck and the Preacher, Melinda, The Spook Who Sat by the Door, Hitman, Blackula, Black Girl, Across 110th Street, and Superfly. These movies told our stories with power, style, and heart, showcasing our culture, struggles, and our strength. 1972 wasn't just a great year, it helped shape the future of black filmmaking. I know you're not a fan of Superfly, Len, but you've got to give it some respect. It was made for under $500,000 and pulled in over $30 million, proving black stories could sell. Gordon Parks Jr. brought an unapologetically black vision to the screen, paving the way for voices like Spike Lee and John Singleton. In Curtis Mayfield's soundtrack, it wasn't just music, it was protest, poetry, and power. Superfly didn't just entertain, it shifted the culture. Fast forward 19 years and you see it again. New Jack City, Boys in the Hood, Jungle Fever, A Rage in Harlem, and The Five Heartbeats followed the blueprint set by Superfly, Comeback Charleston Blue, Trouble Man, and Across 110th Street. Powerful stories, unforgettable soundtracks, and our voices on screen. 1972 was a special year for black film and black music too. But that's a convo for another time. As always, stay strong, stay black, stay real. Right on, brothers. Love your fans. Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Sykes.
like a passionate email.
I do too.
Very nice.
And that was very passionate.
nice.
And that was all of our emails. Thank you, each and every one of you. If you want to have your thoughts read here on the email, on the Micheaux Mission, send them our way. Email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's micheuxmission@gmail.com. And if you want to join the Micheaux Mission live, you can join us on August 8th at Bryn Mawr Film Institute when Vincent and I and our good friend Stephanie Watts return with the Be Real Micheaux screening series for Action August, as we will be screening Rush Hour.
Yes, we will.
Starring Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan on the big screen as it hasn't been seen in years.
Yeah.
I would hasten to bet there's a lot of missionaries who have never seen it on the big screen.
Yeah. Maybe I saw it when it was out.
Really? I mean, I know I saw it on the big screen twice, because I saw it twice in the same weekend.
A little Chris Tucker goes a long way with me.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And I was always ambivalent about Jackie Chan's American filmography.
Okay. And that's, because he's like.
So Chris Tucker plus Jackie Chan American work, it's a 50% chance I didn't see it when it was out like I saw. And to be clear.
Because this is Chris Tucker coming out off of Fridays.
Yeah. And to be clear, I really, really like this movie. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying I 100% see me going, there's something else I could be doing.
Yeah.
Like, depending on what else was out.
Okay.
Talk
about something that was received well that may not have aged well.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So join us August 8th at Bryn Mawr Film Institute as we will be screening Rush Hour. Tickets are on sale now at brynmarfilm.org. Now, it is time for the Game of Kings.
Something that never ages badly.
Never. 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin. Six Degrees of D'Urville Martin, where I give Vincent 2 actors and he has 6 films or less to connect them to D'Urville Martin, a man who may single-handedly actually be the greatest sitcom of all time.
Just a one-man show.
One-man show.
A one-man band.
One-man band. Real quick, in regards to that deep cut, going back, I see April McFadden in the chat. It's keeping up for Living Single. That's actually one that was percolating in my head that would be in the running, I think.
I think it's definitely in the running.
I think it's in the running.
Because it's a tight ensemble.
Yes.
It's a tight
that for the most part is
right.
tight until the last season.
Right, last season things kind of go off the rails a little bit. But just to kind of put the bow on that, like, I do think what makes these sitcoms contenders is that you can mix and match various cast members and come up with gold.
Say that again. What do you mean by that?
It's not just a one-man show.
Okay.
Like, you can mix them up and still come up with good stuff. I mean, even something like Martin, where I grant you, Martin Lawrence's ego at one point just sort of starts to overshadow everything. But the cast is really strong, so that even
That's
with
what makes it all the more
a
wasted opportunity for me.
Yeah, but please continue.
All right.
6
Degrees of D'Urville Martin. We're going to keep this in theme, Vincent. We're going to be reviewing Sinners tonight. Long-awaited review.
Yeah.
So, keeping in theme, I have chosen 2 actors from another film that has sin in it.
Okay.
In its title.
Okay. All right.
So these are 2 stars of a film that you can't use.
Okay.
They are the stars of 2005's Sin City.
Okay. All right.
So starting with number 1,
all right.
6 films or less connect D'Urville Martin to Clive Owens.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know I want to go with him. Because he's in one of my favorite movies of all time.
I knew you were going to go to this movie.
What movie am I going to?
Children of Man.
You are 100% correct. You are 100% correct. That is one of my favorite films of all time. And because you guessed, I won't go the easy route, which would be Chiwetel Ejiofor. Mm-hmm. I'll go with, here you go. Here you go. I don't get to do this that often. D'Urville Martin is, of course, in Five on the Black Hand Side with Dick Anthony Williams. But here's the thing about Dick Anthony Williams. He's in The Jerk.
Yes, he is.
With Steve Martin.
Yes.
And Steve Martin is in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Michael Caine. Mm-hmm. I have to use the bathroom. Thank you. And Michael Caine is, of course, in Children of Men with Clive Owens.
Very good.
Yeah, I think he's only in like 2 or 3 scenes, but
very good. I've never seen the film. I always want to watch it, and I just.
It has one of the. It has one of the best opening scenes I've seen in like 20 years.
I
think you turn it on, give it 10 minutes, and you're in.
I think the reason why I haven't seen it, even though I really do want to see it. Mm-hmm. It looks like the type of movie that I've got to be in a certain frame of mind to watch.
That's 100% correct.
Yeah,
that is one.
And I'm like, it's because it looks like it's deep.
It's you know the premise.
Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty bleak.
Yes.
But at the risk of spoiling it, it ends on a hopeful note.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe I'll.
So good.
I want to see it.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well done, Vincent.
All right. Yeah. Clive Owen.
All right. Next we have.
Okay.
Is 6 films or less.
Okay.
Connect D'Urville Martin to this other star of 2005 Sin City.
Okay.
Jessica Alba.
Oh, is she in Sin City?
Yes.
I did not know that because up until this exact second, I only know her from one movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We'll go ahead and because D'Urville Martin is Oh, here you go. We'll take the long way home. D'Urville Martin is in Five on the Black Hand Side. Dick Anthony Williams. Dick Anthony Williams is in Mo Better Blues with Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is in Deadpool and Wolverine with
wow.
Ryan Reynolds, which is a bit of meta casting because Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes infamously were in Blade Trinity, where the scuttlebutt for years has been they didn't get along. Mm-hmm. So the fact that Wesley Snipes was in Deadpool and Wolverine was a bit of, hey, look at this, look at these guys. But both of them, of course, were once again in Blade Trinity with Jessica Alba.
Wrong. Jessica Alba is not in Blade Trinity. That's not the person you think. You're thinking of somebody else.
That's not sexy.
That's not Jessica Alba.
Who is that?
That is it's another who is that? Dylan. Jessica Biel. Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel?
Yes.
Who is that?
That is who was in Blade Trinity.
Oh, well, shit. Who is Jessica Alba?
She's in Sin City. She plays Marv's love interest, Nancy, in Sin City. And she is in another, film, a couple of films. She was in another film that had a sequel.
I don't even...
That I think you saw.
Who is Jessica Alba?
She was on the TV show...
Right. Party of Five or something, right?
No, that's Jessica Biel.
This is not the same white woman?
No, Jessica Alba was on, I think, Not Angel.
No, because that's
what was her TV show?
Like Charisma Carpenter, not Charisma Carpenter.
She had a short run TV show, Dark Angel. I know it was an angel. Dark Angel at the age.
That is not the same woman. Those are two different women.
Yes.
You have blown my mind. What else is she in?
Well,
No, you're going to have to give me something because all I see is just, I thought these were
her
the
big
same.
screen breakthroughs in 2003 in Honey.
Is that the one with Mariah Carey? Is Mariah Carey in that?
No.
That's one of them dance movies, right?
It is a dance movie.
Who's a black person that teaches her how to dance? Because I just assume, like, it's always a black person. Honey, you need to loosen your hips and be more sexual like me because I'm black.
Well, I don't know whether or not this person teaches her to dance in there, but there's a couple of black people in there.
Yeah, give me one of the blacks in this. Who teach her how to be soulful.
I'll give you one of the blacks.
Give me one of the
You
blacks.
asked me for one of the blacks. I'm giving you one of the blacks.
Give me a black.
Lil Romeo.
Lil Romeo?
Lil Romeo.
Okay.
Do something with that.
Okay, I can actually. I can do something with Lil Romeo. This how, okay. So, okay, how do I want to do this?
Lil Romeo's filmography.
No. I got it. You don't got to tell me. I know exactly.
I want to make sure that you're getting the right.
Yeah, I know
You get the right black.
No. I know Lil Romeo. He's like Kirkland brand, Lil Bow Wow. Yeah. No, we're not getting no Lil Bow Wow. We got Lil Bow Wow at home.
They called him Kirkland brand. Oh my God.
Okay, so
I see Dylan getting the Costco logo all ready for the short.
how are we gonna do this? D'Urville Martin is in Five on the Black Hand Side with Leonard Jackson. Leonard Jackson is in Boomerang with John Witherspoon.
Okay.
John Witherspoon is in I Got the Hookup with Master P. Mm-hmm. Master P is in I Got the Hookup 2 Electric Boogaloo with Lil Romeo. And Lil Romeo apparently is in Honey with
Jessica Alba. Yeah.
Who is a completely different person than Jessica Biel. Totally it's not a tax scam at all.
Totally different.
Okay. So
you got it.
All right.
Well done.
There you go.
Well done. The film that I would have thought you would have gone to for Jessica Alba
is what?
Fantastic Four.
I never saw that.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yo, yeah, not for one reason. Not
see any of the.
Not for one moment was I watching the We're Keeping the IP Fantastic Fours.
Oh, I just thought you would have watched the Tim Story Fantastic Four.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah.
Oh, well,
and no offense to Tim's story, but yeah, not for. I didn't watch either one of them.
Okay, well, she was in both of them because there was the Rise of the Silver Surfer was the second one.
Oh my God, that's right. It did get a sequel.
Yes. She was in that. She was in those two movies. She was in Good Luck Chuck, Valentine's Day, Sin City I mentioned, Machete, Spy Kids. Well, one of the Spy Kid movies. She was in.
Is she in Spy Kids?
Well, in Spy Kids: All the Time in the World. So I don't think she's in the first one.
Is she Hispanic? Because I thought that was the whole Spy Kids thing. They only had Hispanic actors.
She actually may be Hispanic. I don't.
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, her mother was Danish, Welsh, German, and doesn't say what her
right. So white mother. Uh-huh.
Children of Mexican immigrants.
Okay, yeah. Because I know that's the Spy Kids thing, which is actually kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah. And then she was on the TV series LA's Finest.
Which is an actual television show that apparently comes on television.
I know, but that was the show that she did with Gabrielle Union. They were like cops.
Oh, right. The spinoff, The Bad Boys. Wasn't that on a weird channel?
Yeah, it was on Spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So you've learned something.
I'm going to forget it immediately. It's like this in the track listing to Dangerous. It has already left my mind.
If it's any,
I vigorously scrub the hardware.
if it's any consolation, I think Jessica Biel is a stronger actress than Jessica Alba. But Jessica Biel actually kind of like stepped away from acting for a long bit because she was raising her children that she has with what's his name? The singer.
Oh, please don't. Please.
The singer, the wardrobe malfunction guy.
Janet Jackson?
She's not married to Janet Jackson. The guy,
Oh, Justin Timberlake?
Justin Timberlake. I think she's married to Justin. Isn't she married to Justin Timberlake?
I was saying, why are you
I'm pretty sure she's married.
why are you like a 60-year-old white woman with a subscription to People magazine all of a sudden? Jessica Biel shares about what's really important. And it's like her on the cover, and she has on like a plaid shirt rolled up. And she's in a kitchen over a wooden bowl.
Yeah, she's married to Justin Timberlake since
Jessica
2012.
Biel shares what's really important.
They've been married for a long time.
Also, summer recipes that won't leave you tired. Why do you know this?
I'll tell you why I know this is because I recently rewatched what's it, The Prestige that I rewatched that she's in.
Okay. Wait, she's in The Prestige?
I want to make sure that it's The Prestige that she's in. It's the one where with Paul Giamatti and Edward Norton, the magic movie. I think that's.
Is that The Prestige? I think that might.
I think that may be the other one because there's two that came out at the same time. Okay, that's the Hugh Jackman one. That's the Christopher Nolan one.
Yeah, right.
That's the Christopher Nolan one. Then go down a rabbit hole like a mug.
No, you're going down a rabbit hole.
I am.
I'm not going down this rabbit hole at all.
Well, please come with me.
No, I'm not.
Come on, you can let me do this by myself.
I'm not interested in any of these people.
The Illusionist. That's what it was.
Sure.
You never seen The Illusionist?
I did not.
You would love The Illusionist.
Would I?
No, you would.
Okay.
Did you like The Prestige?
I did like The Prestige, but I like Christopher Nolan.
And I like Christopher Nolan too, and I like The Prestige. This movie, the Illusionist, I think is just as good as The Prestige. Without like The Prestige gets into like
Are
a
there
little bit
secret
of
twins?
like science.
Spoiler.
Okay, but it also gets into science fiction.
Oh, okay.
No, The Prestige gets into science
Oh,
fiction.
no, okay. Yeah.
The Illusionist is at its heart still, while it deals with magic, it is a caper film.
Okay.
It's all about a caper.
And Jessica, wait. Who?
And Jessica Biel.
Beal. Wait, who are we doing? Beal or Alba?
You did Alba, but you were
Now
thinking
you've gone
Biel.
to Beal.
Because you were thinking Biel.
Okay.
So Jessica Biel is in The
And
Illusion.
these are two people who are definitely not the
They're
same person.
definitely not the same person.
Okay, all right.
And Jessica Biel is in The Illusionist.
Okay.
With Edward Norton and
Paul Giamatti.
Paul
That's
Giamatti.
what you just said. Okay.
yes.
All right.
You should see that film.
Okay.
I believe that you will like that film.
Okay.
I really think you will like
Okay. All right. I'll put it on the list.
it. You'll never watch it.
Oh, look. It's a big list.
All right. Oh,
Did we do both of them? We did
Yeah,
both
we
of
did
them.
both.
Okay.
all right. Now it's time for our review
Yeah.
of Sinners. Sinners, a 2025 American film produced, written, and directed by Ryan Coogler. Set in 1932 in the Mississippi Delta, the film stars Michael B. Jordan in dual roles as criminal twin brothers who return to their hometown to start again and are confronted by supernatural evil. The film also co-stars Haley Steinfeld, Miles Caton, Jack O'Connell, Rumi Musaku, Jamie Lawson, Omar Miller, and Delroy Lindo. This film premiered on April 18th, 2025, and went on to receive huge critical acclaim and grossed $364 million worldwide, becoming the 8th highest grossing film of 2025 in a film that blended horror with history with music. And it is, believe me, apropos that for Black Music Month,
Oh, yeah.
we end the month with the most talked about film of the year Vincent's selection for this stop on the Micheaux mission. Vincent, what say you of Sinners?
Well, it's actually a little ironic that we're doing this in June, which is after May, which is Mother May I. And, I've often said that the one silver lining of Mother May I for me is that oftentimes the films are so bad, you don't have to spend a lot of time talking about the film itself because it's a bad film. So then it liberates you to talk about other things. And the irony is we have that same freedom with Sinners, but for the opposite reason.
Right.
Like I think, quite honestly, there's I don't know how much you can talk about how good this film is at this point. Like it is a masterpiece on every the filmmaking, the performances, the script, the costumes, the sound editing, just all of it. So if you're here for that part of the review, we're going to assume that you know that both of us strongly recommend this film.
Right.
And it is required viewing.
Right.
So then that made me think about this film through the prism of Black Music Month and this film as an examination of the blues, which it is. And the line that stays with me, and even today I got a little chill when I heard it, is the final statement from Stack at the end of the film, in the first of two after credit scenes, where Sammy, now an old man, asks Stack about that night. And Stack says, it's the last time I saw the sun, is the last time I saw my brother.
Yeah.
And just for a few hours, we were free. And that's such an amazing line to me. Because at this point in the film, he has been a vampire for almost 60 years. But even from his perspective, this is the moment that he was free. And so much of that speaks to the nature of the blues and what the blues represent and what the blues are. I'm not like a blues dude. Like we were talking earlier about, I like Howlin' Wolf, I like B.B. King, but I don't really like the blues like that. I read a couple of things that, I'm probably going to paraphrase some of the great thoughts. Like there's this wonderful book called Stompin' the Blues, 1979, Albert Murray, and I read that like last year. Like I'm pretty sure I mentioned it to you. It's a great book just about the blues. And then I saw an interview with Delroy Lindo of a month or so ago, and he talked about reading Blues People by Amiri Baraka, but he wrote it when he was Leroy Jones. So I read that like last week. And I think when you talk about the blues, it is this cultural moment where the act of transgression meets transcendence. And by that I mean being Black. Like just being Black in this country. So much of what we have tried to do, frankly, since 1619 is, as Stack would say, get free.
Yep.
And so much of this film looks at different ways to transgress, to literally break the rules and become free, and how those strategies do and do not have shortcomings. The first one, I think it's super important that money and capitalism is really ingrained in the plot of this film, where these two brothers, Smoke and Stack, have stolen this liquor from these gangs in Chicago, the Italian mob and the Irish mob. And they've stolen liquor. And I think it's important that they stole liquor, because when you look at the fortunes in this country, a lot of it was made off of bootlegging. So it seems like that's a way. So they've stolen this liquor. Now they're going to set up this juke joint. And it really is, we are going to have a business. We are going to build this business. And the film lets us know throughout that capitalism will not save us. You know, I think one of the really sad aspects of this plot is that even if Remick never shows up, this juke joint isn't going to work.
Right.
We see throughout the first half of this film, you know, one of the many amazing choices that Ryan Coogler makes, this backdrop of cotton, where this is the economy that these people, these black people live in. And this cotton economy, this sharecropping economy is not paying them. Like they're being paid in basically company script. Like they're given these tokens and they're not given money. So that even just logistically, the plot tells us that the brothers are going to run out of money because this group of customers just doesn't have American currency to pay for everything. Also, they've purchased this property. Like this is all part of what you do in America. We're capitalists. You start a business, you buy property. But the Klan is already planning to come in and murder them. So this whole bit with, well, capitalism can save us is a non-starter. Not for nothing, speaking of the last scene, I love the fact that Ryan Coogler puts a bow on this idea, where in a film that for an hour, the plot revolves around not letting vampires in, not letting vampires in, not letting vampires in. You have to invite them in, guard the door, don't let them in. Stack and Mary walk right in at the end because they give the dude at the door, they tell him, I'll pay $200. And then they invite him in, which again, do with that what you will, how money, and you invite the vampire in. But regardless, capitalism isn't going to save us. So then you look and you think about the rules, like the rules, and you know, the movie is called Sinners, and again, just sort of being transgressive and escaping these bonds, and you think about the role of sex.
Yep.
And there's so much sex in this film, so much talk about sex, but it's a very specific type of sex. Like, I think it is very important that so much of the talk about sex centers on female pleasure. Like there's this conversation around the clitoris. You know, even when Bo comes back and Remick is speaking through Bo, he talks about, you know, I know how much you like to be licked, and you know, all of this that centers on female pleasure, which is always transgressive. Like sex is always going to be something that breaks the rule, but even that doesn't really move the dial with anyone in this film. And then of course there's race. There's race. Okay, so it's racism, and racism holds us in, and that holds us down. So we got, and you and I have talked about this several times in the past. I think when we talk about race in this country, we focus on minorities and black people, but race in this country has always been about whiteness. And you have these two amazingly fascinating characters and how they move through whiteness. You, of course, have Remick, who I've been correcting people since this movie came out. Remick is not white. Remick is Irish.
Which in that 1932.
And by 1932, Remick is, depending on who you want to believe, depending on this, Remick came over in 1911. I think it is fair to infer from what he talks about when Ireland was taken over by the Christians. He's got these old gold coins. Remick is at least 100, perhaps 200 years old.
Actually, I saw somewhere
they said it was like 300 years old.
Like 1,300.
Right. So Remick is not white. And I love how Remick kind of moves in and out of it. Something I noticed today, which is why you have to watch it over and over again. When Remick comes to the two people's house and the Choctaw
Indians,
vampire hunters are chasing him, the first thing he says to the couple is, "The Choctaw are chasing me." He refers to them by name because he's not thinking in terms of race in America. He sees the Klan uniforms, realizes that he's dealing with these American,
talking to,
and then he starts calling them Indians because he understands this is the language that they use. The first time they go in, and we're talking about music, Pick Poor Robin Clean is a song that a black woman did. So now he's doing the very white thing of cultural appropriation. And he's singing the song. And as the film says, as both Cornbread and Stack say, it's not a bad little ditty. Like he doesn't do bad with it. Like it really is. You have your Elvis moment. Like, all right, this isn't bad. But then you compare that to the two other songs that that he does that presumably comes from his culture. You have the absolutely beautiful Will Ye Go, Lassie Go?
Yeah.
Which is from the 18th century in Ireland. But it's a beautiful song because it's actually remix culture.
Right.
And then you have the second best music sequence in the film, which is, of course, Rocky Road to Dublin, which is just amazing.
It's a set piece.
But Remick is not white. Like the price that Europeans paid for whiteness is this sort of flattened, deadened nothing. Remick is Irish.
Yes.
And then on the other side, you of course have the real transgression of race with the character of Mary, who is, quote unquote, an octoroon. As she says in here, my daddy's mama was half black. She is 1/8 black, which in this wonderful casting, Haley Stanfield is 1/8 black. Like she actually has this makeup that they talk about. But for everyone visually, she is a white woman.
A white woman, yeah.
But she's not a white woman. She's octoroon. Because at this moment, people were lynched, people were murdered when they tried to do this. And you see how, again, race isn't going to free you. Like this isn't going to free you. Like you got these two kind of roles, but even that's not going to free you. And then, of course, you get to probably the centerpiece of this, and that would be religion.
Yeah.
And I have to say, you have these two.
It starts off the movie.
It starts off the movie, but you have these two moments in the film that I've seen a lot of discourse that rub people the wrong way, and a lot of. I think a lot is a word I'm comfortable with. I think a lot of black Christians were uncomfortable with Delta Slim saying the blues came with us. It wasn't forced on us like this religion. And a lot of people, it rubbed people the wrong way, and that's demonic.
That's real.
But it's also historically accurate.
Exactly.
I think when we talk about European contact Christianity on the continent of Africa, we mainly talk about Ethiopia. Ethiopia Christianity is a completely different beast than what we practice here in the United States. B, the vast majority of us who are descended from enslaved Africans come from Western Africa.
Right.
Like we come from people that our first exposure was through slavery. Now that doesn't mean, all the various and sundry disclaimers that you need to be comfortable with that, but that's just historically accurate. So, and then, you think about, as we mentioned, Remick knowing the Lord's Prayer, saying this is what they said, like, this is not your run-of-the-mill vampire movie where the Lord's Prayer and you assume a crucifix is going to
save you.
This has no effect on me. And then, speaking of the first scene, you have that wonderful parallel with Sammy's father and Remick being intercut. We're both of them. So then you say, well, what is this freedom? And the freedom is, of course, the transcendence of the blues and this sort of this culture that comes from inside. And, of course, the centerpiece of the film, the part of the film that hopefully people didn't know was coming when they saw it. Like my fervent sinner's prayer for people is that no one heard about I lied to you before you went in. Because I really do think it is this breathtaking, magnificent moment where Sammy transcends, as it says, the veil of time and space. And you have, of course, the African griots and all of this from the past, but then it goes the other way. And, you have this, someone who looks like he's from Parliament Funkadelic and MCs. And at one point there's break dancers. And then, shout out to, I just forgot my sister's name, the ballerina. But you see the Firebird and all of that. And the film argues that this is what frees us. This is what helps us to transcend, like our culture and everything that it represents. And I'll stop there with this, but it really is an extraordinary accomplishment. Like this is an extraordinary film, and you cannot say enough about it.
No, you can't. Especially now, that scene that you were talking about where Sammy's singing "I Lied to You," which is an amazing song. An amazing song. And Miles Canton, who plays Sammy, just amazing presence for this to be his feature film debut.
Right.
You would not believe it. But that scene is a scene. You're right. It's like the core set piece of this film that everyone talks about. They talk about how his music, and they kind of tease it in the beginning of the film, talking about how music can lift the veil between this realm and others, and connect through time and space. And you see that taking place in that scene, and it's wonderful. Some people have had issues with it because there are some Chinese dancers they see through the, but that's because
exactly
there are Chinese people in that building, in that scene, which is also, to shout out to the research done for this film, historically accurate.
Yeah, oh yeah.
To how Chinese who came and made their way in the South were part of that community.
Right. And Bo and Grace were there.
Bo and Grace are there. They are part of this story. And it would have been, and it could have been so easy for them to have just been another black couple in this film. But just that small little detail to put them in there, to have the Chinese experience be part of the overarching dialogue that this film is making about that time period, about 1930s in the Mississippi.
Well, you understand what Remick wants. Like this is what Remick wants.
Yes, and that actually is, you, from a storytelling standpoint, you're right. What that shows is like, oh, so he's not just connected to his people; he's connected to everybody.
Opens the veil.
Opens the veil, so he can help me connect to my people.
Right.
So this is why he's willing. Like, yeah, I'll take everybody, but that's who I want.
Right.
Because there are only the select few. Because there's I mean, there are plenty of musicians. There are plenty of musicians in that building.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But there's only one Sammy.
Right.
Right. So storytelling wise, it makes sense, and it is just a beautifully crafted scene. I immediately, at the first time seeing it, it's like, how that music and everybody's moving and the veil is lifted and now the building is burning around them. It's like, the roof is on fire and we let that motherfucker
We
burn.
don't need no water. Yeah.
Burn, motherfucker, burn. It is such an amazing moment. And yet, for it to be such a singular moment in here, it is a testament to the talent that Ryan Coogler has, that it does not take away from the film at all. Mm-hmm. He does not, outside of that one little line way at the beginning of the film, which is an hour before this scene happens, which some might even have forgotten about.
Right.
He doesn't speak to that again.
No.
This just happens in this surreal moment within the film. And you are there. You go with it because you've got a trusted, talented auteur, who has taken you by the hand and said, "Let me lead you through this magnificent story that I have presented for you. This original tale that takes our history, blends it with fantasy, blends it with horror, but also brings in the reality of our music, the reality of our experience, our shared experiences in this moment. All of us who were the other at this time, the blacks, the Irish, the Chinese, and look at this amazing accomplishment of filmmaking and story that I can present to you with one of the most incredible casts that you will see."
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't even touch on it. And one of the reasons why we waited so long to talk about this film is because you said it. You can't really talk about this film without really getting into the nooks and crannies of everything that is happening in here, which gets spoilerish.
Right.
And you don't want to have to do that.
Right.
Especially not immediately.
Right. We're going to assume everyone has seen it at least once.
At least once. Right. We've seen it at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But the way, speaking about being a trusted filmmaker and speaking about to this cast, he didn't have to cast Michael B. Jordan in both roles.
Right.
This doesn't have to be twins.
Right.
It doesn't, and even if it twins, it doesn't necessarily have to be Michael B. Jordan. You can cast somebody that resembles Michael B. Jordan, they're fraternal twins or whatever, they're brothers, they're a year apart, whatever. But he cast Michael B. Jordan in this dual roles. And Michael B. Jordan, who this is their 5th collaboration.
Yes, it is.
Has slowly, steadily been very selective and smart about the roles that he has chosen. Mm-hmm. Leaps into this role and creates the character of Smoke and creates the character of Stack. And outside of their being played by the same actor, so they look the same facially and physically, he has created 2 singular characters.
It really is a marvel.
It is a marvel because it's a marvel in that they are singular characters who still very much feel like brothers, who feel like brothers, who still grew up together with their own idiosyncrasies but they still mesh together.
Right.
But they still feel like totally different people. Right. And that is hard to do.
Like they have amazing chemistry.
Yes.
With each other.
It is amazing.
But it's the same guy.
It's the same guy.
I 100% agree.
And the reason why you know it's the same guy, because it's the chemistry that they have with one another. Mm-hmm. They have different chemistry with everyone else in the film.
Yeah.
That everyone relates to Smoke the same way that they relate to Stack. It's totally different.
You know what I love? Smoke doesn't have a whole lot of patience with Mary.
No, he don't.
Like they grew up together, you know, but you can always tell when Smoke is with Mary and when Stack is with Mary.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Because because Stack, Mary's a Jones.
Yeah.
It's that Jones. So so we start there. And then you talk about how this movie is a sexy film, and we talk about it. This is a sexy film. My God, it's a sexy film. But what I love about this film is that Stack and Mary, they have their relationship.
Right.
It's complicated to a degree by their race.
Right.
But it is still 100% heartfelt.
Right.
And outside of some snide commentary about the race, it really doesn't inform you about their relationship.
Look, she is an octoroon. Like, let's not act like that's not a thing. Like, let's not act like that is not a historical fact.
Right.
You know, we talk. I always look for an opportunity to bring up my favorite little factoid that I learned from Cast, the book Cast. Race in America is so bananas. The Nazis came and studied racism here because they were like, we need to study the people that are the best at it. The Nazis said, y'all are doing good work. We took good notes. There are two things that y'all do that you too wild for us. A, all that carnival stuff that y'all do when you lynch people, cutting off people's ears and picnics and postcards. We are building factories to exterminate people, but that's too wild for us. Y'all having parties and balloons and giving ears to kids.
We're building factories away from town.
We also believe in the purity of the Aryan race, but y'all shit is too crazy for us. Mary is an octoroon. Again, 1/8. She got 7 white grandparents. I'm sorry, 7 white great-grandparents and 1 black great-grandparent. The 1-drop rule goes back to 1/64th. So, yeah, octoroon is pretty crazy, but it gets crazier. So, you know, and again, this is who Haley Stanfield is.
Yes. Yes.
And this is passing. Like, this is, you know, again, this is a historical thing. Like people talk and this this sentiment of, oh, well, you know, we'll cast somebody else, and, you know, maybe Journey Smollett. No, Journey Smollett cannot pass.
No, not at all.
Haley Stanfield is passing. I mean, she's not passing because in 2025, we all pretend it doesn't matter anymore, and she's clearly living her life as a human being, and we don't talk about it, and the racism of the 1-drop rule and everything that goes along with that. But let's be clear, biologically, Haley Stanfield is just like Mary.
Yes.
And Mary, in 1936, is an octoroon.
1932.
I'm sorry, 1932 is an octoroon, which is not a white person.
That's right.
So as they talk about in this film, if they catch her, a lot of times these people get murdered.
That's right.
So, you know.
But that has little say on her relationship with Stack.
Well, they grew up together. They love each other.
But I love how that plays out.
Smoke is he's about finished with her.
Well, Smoke is finished with her, but hey, Smoke got Annie.
Yes, he does.
He got Annie. And let me tell you, it was fun to read that the scene where Smoke and Annie meet, reunite more or less when he comes back and lament the loss of their daughter. And they have, you know, a scene where they come together. That was Umi Musaku's audition scene for the movie.
Wow.
And Ryan Coogler cast her in the room off of the chemistry built in that scene. And it is right there on screen.
And again, as you just point out, it's different chemistry.
It totally
between Michael B. Jordan and both actresses.
Yes. And shout out to this film who creates, how I want to say this, a fully beautiful, sexy black woman.
Yeah.
Who looks like Umi Musaku.
Look, man, Umi Musaku is and you know the great thing about us taping this, you and I are on record of this. We've been Umi Musaku people from the very beginning. You can actually timestamp when I became an Umi Musaku person. Like the episode of Lovecraft Country, she has on a pair of red shorts and she's sitting in the window, and I said, oh, I said, oh.
Who is this?
Who is that? But yeah,
Stick a pin in this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But shout out to this film for doing and let me tell you, I mean, like you said, we're fans. We are huge fans.
Huge.
But watching her move in this movie, in this film, it is absolutely amazing. You know, shout out the return of Delroy Lindo. We've joked about, you know, like Delroy Lindo, where has he been? You know, like Lawrence Fishburne and Samuel Jackson stole his lunch money, but when he shows up,
look,
that man show up.
Look, you talking about scenes and you know so much of the scene where he tells the story. Of his friend. A lot of that was improvised by
Delroy Lindo.
Right. Like the emotion, the sentiment. Yeah, look, this cast is everything. This cast is absolutely everything. And you and I talked about, like, the young actress that plays Grace and Beau's daughter. We see in one scene. I wanted to know everything about her. Like, what happens? My favorite little scene in this film, it's not my favorite scene, but like the scene that really, quite honestly, makes me the happiest in this film is that moment where Smoke, you realize he really is a girl dad. When he has that moment with the girl to guard the truck, and he teaches her how to negotiate.
Yes, that is a great scene.
It's a throwaway scene. It's just a character building moment. Numbers got to converse with each other.
That's right.
But it's such a beautiful little scene. And I love the fact that this moment, he's kind of changed her life. Something else that I saw someone note talking about that scene. In a culture where we always adultify, I don't know if that's a word or not, adultify black girls. And, you know, this girl looks like she was 13, maybe 14. He still treats her like a child. Like you're a child. Like, I'm here to mentor you. I'm here to teach you about things. And I love that. Like, I love that little, again, it's the details that you have in this.
But he
film.
gives her the respect. Gives her respect.
I mean, he's teaching her.
Yeah. I mean, when you say treat her like a child, I thought you were trying to say like he was being dismissive. No,
not at all. I mean, actually, again, he's a girl dad. He's actually mentoring and nurturing.
Yeah. That is like a small little, you know, throwaway scene in there. That is a great scene. I actually like the scene where he goes to pick up cornbread, played by Omar Miller. Omar Miller showing up. I haven't seen him in a minute.
Stat goes and picks him up.
Stat goes to pick him up because that's right, because Sammy's with him. Omar's wife is like, oh, he ain't going nowhere. Well, I'm about to pay him. He's like, all right. Well,
how much? Well,
how much you paying?
But again, this is not going to save us.
True.
Like this is part of the reason that ultimately, he ends up dead. Like I love the fact that Delta Slim immediately sees the holes in this plan. Like, you gonna pay me 40 tonight, but what about next week and the week after that? Like, he absolutely understands the dynamic of these two black men trying to build a business in Clarksdale, Mississippi. But his greed gets the best of him. And, he goes against, frankly, his good instincts.
But do you think that it was his greed going against him?
Not greed for money, but he liked that good Irish beer.
Okay, yes. Well, yes.
In his defense, you can't beat an ice-cold Guinness.
Ice Cold Guinness is a good beer. One of the few beers I did enjoy.
That's not free advertising, though. Strike that from the record. Go ahead. Guinness ain't paid us no money.
But I don't think it was just I don't think it was just that. I think it was also. Sure. I think it was actually, honestly. I think what made the difference for him was hearing Sammy.
With Sammy, yeah,
yeah. That's what I think it is.
Look, I love
because sorry to cut you off. That is the power that Sammy is touching into. That Delta probably feels like pulled to that. Like, oh. That's different.
And I love how protective everybody is of Sammy. Speaking of that scene, I noticed today, it's all jokey, but there's a moment where Sammy starts to play his guitar and Delta Slim tells him, no, it is my, and if you weren't, a young boy in this, I'd cut you. And Stack immediately says, ha, 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 it's all jokey, but if you threaten him again, we gonna have a problem. Like, I love how protective the twins and then eventually Delta Slim and everybody is of Sammy.
Become of Sammy.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, and you're right. And you're right to point that out that happens then, because in that moment, Sammy he's protecting his cousin.
Right.
But as the night goes on,
exactly,
he becomes everybody's like,
exactly.
Oh, he's ours.
Exactly.
He's our young bull that we got to look out for.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I mean, he's the holder of this. He's the holder of culture.
Right.
He's the standard bearer.
Yeah.
So, and I do want to like there are two end scenes because I do think this notion of spirituality and religion and what it can and cannot do for you is explored in this film. But I do think there is an end note to this, this, we brought this with us. It was enforced on us, like this religion and even Remick knowing the Lord's Prayer. I think it is super important that the final scene, not the scene after the scene with Stack and Mary, is Sammy young Sammy singing This Little Light of Mine, but he's singing it as a blues song. So that what I left with the film leaves me with, is that all of this can work together. Yeah. The problem is when you want to separate the blackness.
Right.
Or you want to, sort of demonize the blackness, which, obviously I love us. Like, I love black people. But there is a kind of black person that annoys the hell out of me. And you see it sometimes, like it's a type of black person that always sees something demonic in blackness, like Beyonce is demonic. Fraternities and sororities are demonic.
Oh, okay.
The blues are demonic. Like, why is it always black stuff that's demonic to you? And who told you that?
I don't know any black people like that.
Oh, you're a good man.
I don't.
You've done a much better job than me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I love the fact that final moment is that this is also part of it. Like, I got the sense that transcendent moment that pulled in all of these different aspects of blackness, if you went far enough, it was Aretha Franklin at the Amazing Grace sessions.
If you kept
Like
expanding
right,
it
like
out.
if it kept expanding out.
Yeah. You know what? I
You know?
actually thought that in the wake of this film, that somebody was going to do some kind of like screen capture, and like you're going to point out like, oh my God, there's Michael Jackson over there,
Right.
Like, oh my God, there's little Stevie,
Right.
I just knew that was going to happen,
Right.
Something like that. Yeah, I feel on that. But we're waxing poetic about this film, and rightfully so, because this film has few holes, and there's and we have talked about the film as a film,
Yeah.
how successful it is, and how it has become probably one of the cultural touchstones, I think, of the 21st century in film.
Yeah. We'll be talking about this.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there have been 3 cultural touchstones for Black people in film in the 21st century.
Okay.
I think it's been Black Panther,
Yeah.
the first one,
Absolutely.
Get Out,
Yes.
and now Sinners.
I 100%. How are you defining touchstones?
Like the films that not only do they get us talking, not only does it become that word of mouth that you're telling everyone, yo, you've got to see, that not only does it become this communal conversation and event for everyone and in like full on embrace, not only does it become such a community, like such a fire within our community that outside communities are looking in. Hey, what's going on there? So now you've got, them showing up to Black Panther, Get Out, as well as Sinners as well. That doesn't. I think that rarely happens.
Okay.
And in that, I think Sinners, Get Out, Black Panther in the 21st century.
I think I agree with you. I think, I'm trying to think the last 20 years. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I really do. And what I think about is you're talking about the last 20 years. I'm thinking about Black films that we're going to talk about from now on.
Yes.
Like just from now on.
And I think this will be one of them.
We'll be talking about Daughters of the Dust 100 years from now. We'll be talking about Do the Right Thing.
Will this be one of those films that we put up and say, oh, is this that? Right. You know how we say, oh, is this Daughters of the Dust? Is this Black Panther?
Yeah.
All the films that followed in the wake of Get Out.
I agree.
I think this is going to be
I agree with you. I agree with it. And I think it is worth noting the obvious that 2 of these films were directed by Ryan Coogler.
Yep. And feature
Michael B. Jordan. Do you think he's ever been better?
Michael B. Jordan? No.
Me either.
Not at all.
Me either.
And he's good. He's good.
I like Michael B. Jordan. You know what? We were talking about texts that start to age poorly as years go on. The longer I engage Black Panther, the more I'm impressed with him in Black Panther.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I liked him when it came out, but I have to say, I really, really enjoy him more and more in Black Panther the longer it goes on. And, yeah, I don't think he's ever been better.
No.
I don't think he's ever been better than in this film. And again, as you said, we've watched, this is my 3rd time seeing it. And kind of like you said, I am amazed at how fully he creates these 2 characters. Their physicality, as you mentioned, the way they interact with other actors, the way they interact with each other.
I know that scene where they're like handing the cigarette back to
right.
Forth.
Look, again, kind of when I start when Stack says it's the last time I saw your brother, my brother, it made me sad, and then I realized, they're the same dude, right? Like, this isn't the case that these 2 actors aren't going to work together again. We, of course, have to point out, again, the details. I wanted to talk a little bit about the costumes. Ruth Carter, once again, the period piece costumes. But I absolutely adored all of the information that you get from 1992, Stack and Mary.
1932.
No, 1992.
Oh, 1992. Okay, right. Oh, yes.
Where Stack is wearing the iconic Coogee sweater.
Yes, he is.
That Biggie is going to wear 2 years later. 1992, for those of you keeping track, and caught the "we gonna build us a business for us by us." 1992 is also the year that FUBU premieres. And talking about Mary and her race, she may have been trying to hide her race in the 30s, but in 1992, she was actually a roundaway girl sucking on a lollipop. Bamboo earrings sucking on a lollipop.
A la LL Cool J.
Right. So this level of detail, this level of I also love the fact that you've got that wonderful line when Smoke is about to die. And Annie from the spirit world tells him, you can hold the baby when you put that cigarette out, because I don't want to get smoke on her.
I know.
Because now he's Elijah. Stack's still stacked out. Because he's got the finger ring that says Stack.
That's true.
Yeah.
Shout out to Buddy Guy in that scene.
Who knew?
8 years old.
Has Buddy Guy acted in anything before?
No. 88 years old, knocked it out.
He was Sammy.
He was older Sammy.
He was older Sammy. And again, I felt this real intimacy between Vampire, Annie, and Stack in Little Sammy.
Shout out. And you know what? That's the first scene they shot for the film.
Okay.
That's the first scene they shot for the film.
I gotta tell you, I don't know a lot about Haley Stanfield outside of the Marvel stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know she. I was not familiar with her work.
She's a good actress.
Yeah, she is.
She's no joke.
Yeah,
she's the real deal.
Yeah,
she is absolutely the real deal.
Yeah, just a little bit behind the curtain. What Len and I were talking about when the show came on was the wonderful Jamie Larson. And whether or not she should be playing Storm or not.
Yes, Jamie Larson, who plays Pearline.
Look.
Let me ask you a question.
You understand why that man named a club after her 50 years later?
Okay. I saw some people bump on this a little bit.
Okay.
So Pearline, he saw Sammy met Pearline at the train station.
Yes, he did, but he had seen her before.
But he had seen her before singing around.
Yeah.
And now he's seen her at the train station.
Right.
And and Sammy, who I think we're led to believe is not that experienced with women.
No.
All right. I don't know whether or not he's supposed to be a virgin, but he's not a whole lot of experience.
Right.
But he run good game at the train station.
Look,
he is a musician,
right?
You know what I mean,
right?
So he put.
Said, you seem like a nice young man. He said, I ain't that young and I ain't that nice either. I said, all right, Sammy.
Okay,
I didn't know. Sammy got a little game.
I know his last name was D'Angelo.
Right.
But so he gets her to come to the juke joint that night.
Yes.
Pearline.
Yes.
Who says that she's married.
Yes, I'm going to take her at her word.
All right? Now, some things happen between Sammy and Pearline.
Yes.
At the juke joint.
What's your question?
When the Ku Klux Klan show up there, do you think that Pearline's husband was on his way to the juke joint too?
I'm not going to say I'm haunted by Pearline's husband. But I do wonder about Pearline's husband in all this.
Yeah. Like, I'm not looking for my wife.
I think he gets up, probably going to church or, not going to church. And then, I just assume that Monday A whole bunch of people have vanished, and it's all these dead white people out at the juke joint. And then it's just a whole bunch of rumor and things that go on. And Pearline is just part of the 40 black people who have vanished. So it's like 40 black people have vanished. It's like 15 dead white men, like
and one black guy.
And one black guy. You know, like Smoke. It's like 15 dead white guys, and you know, like Smoke killed the mayor, the chaplain, the sheriff, all of the various and sundry white businessmen who had come out there to do whatever. And then all these black people have vanished, and your wife is one of them. I mean, I assume he's probably sad for the amount of time. I mean, obviously it's not a good marriage.
What do you mean, obviously it's not a good marriage?
Because she snuck out to have sex with a 19-year-old boy that she just met at the train station.
That doesn't mean that it wasn't a good marriage.
No, that actually does mean it's not a good marriage.
It doesn't mean it wasn't a good marriage. It means that she went out. She went out to the club.
No, she went out to the club. She went out to the club for a reason. She didn't go to just hear no music.
So you saying she was wrong?
Well, I'm saying she was a sinner. It's right there in the title.
well, we know that.
Right, it's right there in the title. I'm saying let's be clear. It's, again, there's transgression and there's transcendence.
Okay, all right.
We're just breaking the rules.
Okay.
You know, I like Pearline, but yeah, Pearline's husband, probably for the best. Again, he woke up, she went to church, and again, it's like,
don't need this.
Like, where anybody seen Earl? And you know who else? Sadie Mae is missing too.
Cornbread ain't came home with.
Where's Charlie? Right, Cornbread ain't come home. You know, it's like 40 black people have vanished, and there's ashes everywhere.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Bunch of dead white men and smoke.
Is there, to be fair reviewers.
Fair reviewer, yeah.
Is there any bad note?
Not only do I not think there are any bad notes, but speaking of Black Panther and Get Out, and a bunch, the films that we've talked about, like I pulled because I always go to Daughters of the Dust because it's something, or Do the Right Thing. Like, these are films that I've seen so many times that you can kind of get down on a granular level. I find new things every time out. Like, this is my third time watching it. Like, I realized this time that the choir was actually singing This Little Light of Mine at the beginning, which then is the bookend. And, there's like the first song many of us learn as children. So, you kind of, again, it's the root. So I don't think there is.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
Everything works.
I'm trying to think of criticism that I've read. And the one criticism that I've heard is the simplicity of the plot. Like, the plot is basically they come into town, but it's a blues song. Like, the blues is A-A-B-A, and the film is actually a blues song. It's like, Preacher Boy Sammy plays the blues, and you see him playing the blues, and then the second line, Preacher Boy Sammy plays, it's like it emphasizes the first line. Mm-hmm. Third line, whole bunch of stuff happens. Some vampires come, but they gonna make sure to get Preacher Boy home. Fourth line, Preacher Boy sings the blues.
Yeah.
And there's the beauty is in the simplicity of form.
Yes.
Like there are no plot twists. There is no third act reveal.
No.
I mean, even the bit with them surviving at the end, I'm not going to say it's foreshadowed, but it's completely within the character of Smoke. Like, there's no way Smoke is killing Stack.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not, I mean, shit, Smoke was about to let Stack out the room.
Right.
Smoke was about to go out there with Stack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the one thing I've seen people talk about, and I disagree with, is people give grace a hard time for being the person that invites them in.
Right.
And I push back on that because Grace, as far as we know of everyone that has survived, is the only one that has a child out there.
Yes.
That she is what she is concerned about.
But not family. There's something else I love about that character, because me, that's...
And she's not... Were you saying she's not family?
No. What I'm saying, that there is a character beat for Smoke and Stack with that. Again, if I go by what the movie has set up, when Remick turns you, he now has access
to your
memories, which is how he's able to speak Chinese to Grace, and everybody learns about what Grace liked to be licked. But at this point, he's also turned Mary and Stack, which means he has access to their memories, which means that he knows that Sammy's family is also out there. He never threatens Sammy's family. Like, he never says, Sammy, come out here or I'm going
after your dad.
After your dad, your mother, and your siblings. Because turned or not, he don't want that smoke from Stack.
Right.
And I love that. Like, I love, Grace is the one you threaten. Because if you threaten Sammy's family, now you got a whole other problem.
Right. Fair. And
so, yeah, I agree with you. I think.
And I think it's fair that she's worried. She wants to get there. Because I also love the beat that when they do come in, she goes straight for her husband.
Yeah.
She goes straight for her husband, and they both die right there on the spot.
Yeah.
So I like that storytelling.
Yeah. Again, everyone, and you talk about this, everyone is acting to the full height of their intelligence. They have established character. All of these characters move in a way that these characters would move.
Yes.
Like, nothing happens just because of plot convenience.
Right. It's no false move.
Yeah.
In this movie. Great movie. Fantastic film.
Yeah, look.
If you haven't seen Sinners, now's the time. Stop the podcast. Go see Sinners. It is available at home right now for you to watch. You can buy it digitally. It's actually going to be on HBO Max, I think, within the next week sometime as well. So if you're a subscriber to Max, and we don't do free advertising.
No, we do not.
We want you to see this film. See it. Love it. My sister just saw the film.
What'd you think?
One, she loves it.
Okay. Two,
like my sister always does when she discovers something that the world has already discovered. Oh my God, now I see what everybody's talking about. Let's all get together and talk about it. We've already talked about it, Les. Oh, I can't wait for you to review it. Well, we're reviewing it on Tuesday. I've got a meeting. Okay. So, to Les, who will be watching this later, I hope you've enjoyed our review of Sinners. Before we tell you what we're going to be reviewing next week here on the Micheaux Mission, I invite you to send all of your feedback. Email us, please, at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUXMISSION@gmail.com. Like and follow the Micheaux Mission on the social media of your choice, whether it be Instagram, whether it be TikTok. Yeah, we got it on TikTok as well. Follow us at Micheaux Mission. You can find the Micheaux Mission as a podcast on Apple and Spotify and on YouTube, where you are watching us right now, where you can like, subscribe, hit the bell, and be notified of when we go live with our new episodes. You can follow us on the podcast app so you can get all of our updated new shows, our mission logs, the best of the Micheaux Mission. You can find out everything that's happened to the Micheaux Mission at micheauxmission.com, where you can become one of our subscribers to our newsletter and find out what's coming up the next month on the Micheaux Mission, and be advised of all of the live events and special events that we've got going on. And we've got some special events that are going to be happening within the next couple of months. So you want to tune into the newsletter to be right on top of it. You can be first in line. All right. The Micheaux Mission is also a proud member of The Podglomerate. ThePodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work, such as ours, which streams live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. If you want to book yourself in one of the lovely studios that they have here at Young Junk, please get in touch with our man Dylan at youngjunk.com. That's DYLAN at YUNKJUNK.com. Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission, it is July.
It is.
Which means we're just reviewing films. But we've got a doozy for you.
Yeah. It's appropriately enough. It's a hot month.
It's a hot month. Hot month. Yes. We have the stars that you love of the 70s doing their thing in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
From 1982, we've got Jim Brown,
mm-hmm.
Jim Kelly,
mm-hmm.
Richard Roundtree,
Yeah.
and leading actor, director Fred Williamson.
Yeah.
In the 1982 action joint, One Down, Two to Go.
One down, two to go.
Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting we say,
We'll see you when it's time to meet again.